Hello, welcome to 9-2-NY. Give it up for Alan Cumming.
Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Host of the Traitors. Ever heard of it? Oh, Alan, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Catherine Cohen.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm such a fan of the show. I think we're all collectively gagged, losing our minds. How does it feel to be in the biggest show of the moment?
It's great, but this whole experience has just been sort of, from when they asked me to do it, I feel I'm just at the center of this storm that I know nothing about, and I'm just like riding it and enjoying it and I really do have such fun doing the show, you know, and like when I'm actually shooting it, it's like I am as obsessed every day working as people are watching it. It's like an immersive version of the show.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I can't go to sleep until the producer calls me and tells me who's been murdered.
Oh my goodness. I can't. Are you actually sleeping in the castle? Yes.
I have been advised by the people at Peacock that I'm not to mention where we sleep. Having blown it a couple of times previous interviews. But I do sleep in the castle on the nice bed in my room with my dog Lala. But
Shout out to Lala.
But maybe not always at night.
How has Lala been enjoying the experience?
Lala is, she gets recognized on the street. She actually gets recognized.
Oh my god.
Like people see her and then they look up at me and they go, I knew it was Lala. Like that.
A star is born.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how did your journey with the show begin? When did they first come to you?
So when did we do the first one? In sort of the spring of 24, 23, 22.
It's impossible to know what year
I
it
know.
is.
I think it was 21. Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was sort of like for a few months, like I was hearing from my agent, my non-scripted agent, which always makes me laugh, like she doesn't know what to say, but she does. But she said there was this sort of British company, and it's a sort of murder mystery set in a castle. And I was like, what? And so that kind of was, you know, they sort of mentioned something and months go by. And eventually they said, yes, I think it's going to happen. They want to send you the Dutch version of this show. I was like, what? And so I feel I always do I am quite eclectic, and I always am more drawn to things that if my reaction is, what? Yeah. Then I'm like, oh, interesting. So I had this Zoom meeting with them, and I basically said, why are you asking me to do this? I don't understand. And then they told me why, which is basically they wanted it to be sort of quite theatrical and camp, and it was actually to play a character. And for me, it was when I realized I could play a character. I wasn't just going, you know, hosting an American reality competition show. It's not.
Hey guys.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't in my bucket list or wheelhouse, is it, or whatever?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that I realized it was a character. And they were great. I said actually in that meeting, I said, so it's kind of like you want me to be a James Bond villain, and should I bring my dog? But they're like, yes.
Yes.
But Lala couldn't come the first time because her inoculations were out of date because of COVID.
Yeah.
So
she was busy.
Yeah. So then I, you know, so it's basically when I realized it could be a character, and then I said yes, and then boom, the boat off.
Fabulous. So how long does it take to shoot a season?
I just under a month. I go for just under a month. Like I have a couple of days prep, just from rehearsal.
Okay.
And then most of so there's 11 or 12 episodes or something. So the majority of them are shot in one day. Like by the end of the night, you know, we've had a round table, and then a couple of them are 2 days, which is exciting but less fun because you don't get there.
Yeah. So it's kind of like spooky summer camp.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm those pesky kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about the character, we have to discuss the outfits.
Yes.
I mean, you look unreal. I had a friend specifically want me to ask about the gloves that have sort of like the garter belt attached.
Yes.
So where did the clothes come from? How do you pick the looks? What's happening?
Well, the first of those gloves, absolutely unnecessarily camp and ridiculous. That's what I love about it. Well, there's this great guy called Sam Spector, who's the stylist.
Okay.
And Sam Spector, ladies and gentlemen. And he, I mean, in a funny way, actually, I always feel that when I work with a costume designer or a stylist to play a character, they're incredibly helpful because they will have done more research about the character than I have, for sure. And basically, when you start to wear clothes, you start to understand who that person is. And so I owe so much to costume designers and stylists. And it's interesting, you know, right now they're about to renegotiate their thing, the Hollywood Costume Designers Guild. And it's a very interesting thing. They're absolutely not on parity wages with the other heads of department whose work appears on screen. Not at all. And it's also interesting that most costume designers, the majority are female or LGBT. And so I think it shows the sort of great misogyny and homophobia at work, in residual and insidious work in Hollywood. So there, I've said that, and we're moving on.
Let's get them paid.
Let's get them paid, bitches.
Yes, we love it.
So, smudged my glasses. So Sam I sort of went to Sam saying, I want him to be this sort of dandy Scottish laird. And they said you could have a stylist, so I met with Sam, and I said a James Bond villain. I said it should have lots of tartan and lots of, you know. And then he came to my house and looked at all my suits. And there's this great designer here called Paisley and Gray who make a lot of tartan suits that I love, and I wear them a lot. And Sam took a lot of those away, and then zhuzhed them up with all the sashes and brooches and all that stuff. So that was the first season, and the second season we kind of upped it a little bit. That's my outfits kind of are supposed to match the missions, So
and they do. And they do.
Yes. And so, and this next season, it's exciting because now designers are reaching out, asking to make things for the show and all that stuff. But I just think more. I feel really proud that I'm bringing the cape and the cloak back into men's fashion.
It's time. It's time. Do you have a favorite look from this season, if you had to pick?
I just really loved, because it's the most theatrical and the most like a costume, the one when it's the funeral march.
Yes.
I've got all those horses and everything. And I have a veil.
Yeah.
And those insane gloves.
Married to death.
I've also got these gloves from the first season, like these they go to, because there's a thing about, when I do the bit when I'm with my little cape and little hat and I'm going, oh, the traitors are slinking to their lair. Well, they wanted me to wear something so that whatever I was wearing underneath you wouldn't see, right? Because it could be shot and put into different episodes and everything. So that's why I have these hilarious, practically shoulder-length gloves, very sort of like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and they can kind of come through the little slits in my cape, and I've got those at home, and I've had this idea that I've got these great boots. And someone gave me this big neck, and I had this outfit I want to wear to like go clubbing.
Yes.
And it would be boots, long gloves to here, the necklace, and a jockstrap.
We need a. I believe you can make it happen.
I will.
I love the AC embroidery. I think that's my favorite little touch. Yeah. So speaking of the cloak and the scary evenings, what are these banishment? Well, actually, what is the murdering process like for you, being in the turret?
Well, when I go to the turret,
sure,
it's because I don't go there very often. Like it's so
scary.
Exciting. Yeah, it is scary. And also when I bang on the door, they shit themselves. They really do. They're so terrified because they're not used to anyone else coming into the turret.
Right.
And they just have they have a sort of voice of God speaking to them. So, and also the thing is, on the occasions when I have to stay, it's the end of my day. And one of the times when I had to go into the turret in the first season, it was the night of the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know if you all know what that is. It's a song contest that all these countries in Europe and random ones like Russia and Israel. Wonder if they're going to get in this year. Anyway, lots of countries enter these songs and into this contest, and it's such fun. It's like a campus night in Britain, and everyone who's British or European will have grown up with it. So that was on a Saturday night whilst we were shooting, and I had to stay extra late because of this murder thing, and I had to go into the turret. And the producers were like, "Oh, Alan, we're so sorry you're going to miss the Eurovision Song Contest. We'll give you a little party in your room, like on my own." And but it was not. There was like the makeup and costume people and my assistant. So, and they made little flags and gave us snacks and everything, and wine. And I had quite a lot of wine, Kat.
Yeah.
And so when I went into the turret suddenly, I was slightly slurry. And I remember saying something to Sari, and it was one of the ones I got wrong, and kind of, said a dirty word by mistake. So that's the danger of me going into the turret, is I might have been drinking. But usually I don't really go there. The most exciting part for me is the banishment.
Of course.
It's so juicy.
How long is that? Because you can tell they've been cut down, but how long does that go on?
Well, it varies, but sometimes a long time.
I bet.
If it's like a lot of stuff coming up. And then sometimes I say, the table is yours. And they just don't say anything.
Especially the early episodes, I'm like, who knows how to speak first?
Right.
Like, who knows what to say?
And sometimes they've made pacts where they're not going to say anything. They're just going to banish people. And so I've got to try and get them going. And then sometimes I've got to intervene when it gets really out of control. I mean, sometimes it gets really mean.
What was the craziest moment from this season? At the round table.
I mean, there was a bit when Sandra and Trishelle kept saying "fuck off" to each other, like endlessly.
Amazing.
There was some crying.
Yeah.
A lot of crying. I mean, Larsa got heated. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a sort of,
Stakes are high.
Yeah, it's like a sort of it's like Thanksgiving or something. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know how it's going to go.
And you mentioned backstage everyone's sort of sequestered, right?
Yeah, like they're not allowed phones, and they're not allowed to.
That made my jaw fall on the floor. No phones.
There are no phones, and sort of they're kept very, away from the world. And so, I mean, apparently that's quite common for these kind of shows, that people are kept in a bubble. And so, in a way, they are maddened. They're completely maddened by it. And
totally.
Which is why it's so great, because they just think of nothing else.
It's all consuming.
I know. And then I just want to say, it's called the Traitors.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to, and I would never be a traitor. I would never lie to you. And it's like, hello, if I tapped you on the shoulder, you would, bitch.
So that's a huge question. How do you pick who becomes a traitor?
Well, I mean, there's various permutations of who that might be. And this year, because there's only going to be two, the producers discuss it, and I get to join in too. I'm a producer, and it's exciting. And then kind of, they sort of hone it down. And we did that thing this year where we interviewed all of them and asked them. Mm-hmm. So that was quite helpful. And then you've got to sort of think, what's a good combo? They have a lot of airtime, just the two of them in a darkened room wearing capes. So it's got to be a good combo of personality. But the thing about it this year is that there's more. I think there was one more contestant than normal, and so there's 21 of them all around that table, and it's so scary because I could totally fuck up the whole game if I get it wrong, or if they hear me doing it or feel me doing it, and. What we do is I go around everybody and tap them on the shoulder first, so it's all on camera. So if it is them there, so we do that first. So everybody, they've got their blindfolds on, and then I do lots of I walk around, I go backwards, and I kind of got it. Do all sorts of tricks like that. I stop, but it's really scary because obviously the contestants are very tense and they're completely hyper aware. And I've got a thing in my ear, so I hear the control room, and they're very tense. You can hear lots of shouting and people freaking out. And Sam, the producer, who's lovely, who's in my ear, I can tell he's a little frazzled, and so I've got to maintain, cool daddy. But I feel all this tension everywhere, and then when it came to the bit when I had to do it to tap Fedra on the shoulder, Johnny Bananas was kind of leaning against her like that, and I was like. Oh. So I felt like going like this, like to go. No. But it's really scary. And I quite actually, I remember Larsa and some other ones were sort of analysing, they'd heard me stopping, and they heard my canvas of my jacket moving. I love all that, because you've just got to fox them. And this year especially, I think, and as we go on, because people watch the show and know about it, then you have to sort of pull the rug from under them and surprise them and do things that will confound their expectations.
Totally. What do you think makes a good player of the game?
I think someone who's willing to give it a go. Mm-hmm. I think being open, and I mean, I think you've got to be a pretty good actor. actually. I think it's less to do with strategy. This year, I think it's really been apparent that all these people, like, all the Big Brother people and the, what's the other one? Survivor.
Yeah.
Never watched. They sort of, everyone was saying, oh, they're the strategists. They're the ones who know how to do it. And actually, that's theory has been sort of, chucked out the door because cute little pilot Pete from The Bachelor, he's the biggest strategist. And all these people who don't, it's actually much more about interpersonal things and about how good you are at lying and persuading people. And I've been really fascinated by this, the way that all these theories, and it's like when you play it, it's based on that, it's basically that game Mafia,
yes,
which I'm sure we've all played. Like, there's some people who are really good at sort of the sort of back end aspect of that, and others who just wing it and just chance it. And I think there's a combination of luck in all of it. But my big theory is the reason that the show works and why it's so fascinating to watch is that we get to see people lying. And we lie all the time, of course, in little ways, but we never see people doing it, having to do it. They're forced to do it. They have to lie.
I'm shook.
Yeah. That's what I think is it, because we get to watch people lying and how they are dealing with lying.
Yes.
And often not well. Like last year, little Cody, I thought was going to have a nervous breakdown. I felt so sad for him.
Well, in this episode, is it Kate who's walking into the church and she's like, I can't go into the church. I'm like,
yes.
You knew
and
what you were doing
when
with that
when
one.
she's trapped in that thing at the end, she didn't know what was happening. She didn't realize.
Oh, God.
And she just started shouting all these random things, which they had to cut. It was hilarious. Also, I suspect Kate might have had a few wines.
Sure. I would need a few wines, too.
Yeah, judging by her hair alone. Yeah.
Oh my God. I think one of the craziest moments was watching, no spoilers, was watching Parvati with the wine.
Oh, that was great.
To Ekin-Su. How amazing was that? I was like, there's no way she can do it. And I told you, I'm a huge Ekin-Su super fan.
Yes.
And I was sad to see her go, but it was done so masterfully. It was beautiful.
Yes. And do you know that it was because also she was kind of plastered that night as well.
Yeah.
Ekin-Su. I think the reason that she took it from Parvati was because they actually left them drinking longer than they're normally supposed to have like 2 wines or something, and then they've got to all go home and start going home, or upstairs. And oops. But they let them stay longer and drink more. So Ekin-Su was a bit plastered. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, they were all in town doing press, and they came to Club Cumming.
Oh,
and we all had drinks. This is my barber. Kat has ruled the Wednesday nights.
Oh,
the open.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
And I saw them all. And when they saw me, they were kind of giddy because I'm normally like, I don't really talk to them. I'm always like kind of, stern daddy. And
stern daddy, cool daddy.
Cool daddy, as whatever. But don't, I've got to this is more respect here in the round table.
Right.
Things like that. But anyway, I saw them, and they were all sort of standing outside, and I went up and I saw Dan. I went, Dan, you have received the most votes and are banished from the game. They're like, ah! And then it was so great because Ekin-Su was there, and she'd had a few drinks as well that night. And she was
my girl.
She was doing one of those sort of like, I love you, Alan. I just love you. I really love you. Like that, like really cute.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's why you got murdered.
Oh. Damn. You got to be vigilant. Or you kind of some people have been sort of flying under the radar and they just stay in the game. Because I'm always like, what would be the strategy? To really go for it or to kind of hang back? How do you think you play
I think
the
it's
game?
interesting, like some people, like John, for instance, John Bercow, the former Speaker of the House of Commons.
Shout out.
Who knew? He initially pissed everyone off because he talked so much.
Ooh.
And you can kind of see it in some things. But he nearly did it again last week as well, or this one. But he was just this, could not stop talking. And everyone was sort of like going, all right, John, yeah, shut up, John, you're talking. And so he then turned the volume down and really dialed it back. And he stayed in the game for that. So he read the room. And I think you've got to read the room about how you're coming over.
Yeah.
And also, it's also a bit... The other thing I like about it is and I'm saddened by it, is that it's very Lord of the Flies.
Oh.
Like people, the pack mentality happens and people pile on people and it's just terrifying to watch because it's and again they are maddened. They have been there, all day long, and they're just talking about nothing else. But you see it happening, and it's sort of like, oh my God, this is our life. This is what happens in real life as well. People irrationally pile on people, and I guess that's why we've got the America we have right now in a funny sort of way. But it's that part of it is as a sort of anthropological study.
Yeah.
I get this front row seat, and it's fascinating.
It's a little microcosm.
Yeah.
And you're watching. I love when the camera cuts to you in the background, just
Yes.
watching
I have
behind your veil.
It's so long. I've got to stand there. I have a little sort of like a shelf to sort of put my bum on.
Yeah, I was
cheek.
wondering.
I've got one cheek. I kind of just go on it. A slight.
Is it ever
slight
boring or is it
bevel.
always juicy?
Well, it's usually always juicy unless some people get on. Like when John was on his droning bits,
Yeah.
and MJ, I have to say, she had flights of fantasy that were a little
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
fascinating, but long.
I thought it was very funny how everyone found Kevin quite annoying.
Yes.
Every episode I was like, damn, y'all hate Kevin.
Well, I didn't know this because I'm not there when they eat, but when they did the thing about him eating with his mouth open, I was like, oh my God.
I can't.
It was really awful. Yeah,
I
because
think
all that stuff I don't get to see.
Right,
I
right.
do have, though, in my room, a big, huge screen with all the camera feeds.
So sick.
It's like I'm in my James Bond villain lair. And
Yes.
And when I'm getting ready to do the breakfast bit, I am getting made up and everything there, and I'm watching them, and I see what they're thinking and what they're talking. I can sometimes hear them just talking about me, which is really funny when you hear them. Yeah, it's fascinating. But that's the best part. Having it was kind of compulsive. I hardly left my room.
Oh my God.
Like Lala wanted to go for a walk. I'm like, no, Lala, wait a minute.
I think we have to talk about who I think is the star of the season, Fedra. Do you agree? How has she been on set? And she has so many great one-liners. Do you ever break and start laughing during those moments? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes, and they just keep on coming.
Yeah.
And her facial expressions, everything. When she was doing the catapult thing, she's going like,
Yeah.
like Popeye.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. And also when someone dares to sort of say something about her in the round table, she's like, and when she says things like, don't come for the Bravo people. Like when I was on Andy Cohen's show, I said, he was asking me how they'd done. I said, well, you have engendered this real tribalism.
Yes.
Where the Bravo people and the housewives are really like, don't fuck with us. This sort of visceral sort of connection they've got. I find that fascinating. Now, she's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, funny.
And there's something I can't tell you. Just like something she said that made me howl with laughter.
Oh, I can't wait. Even when she says like yes, she'll be like yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like,
when it was the bit, in the beginning when I say, are you willing to be a traitor? Will you kill someone every night? Will you do the? Most people are supposed to go, I will.
Yeah.
I do. She would go, absolutely. I will.
I love
such a ham.
How she recruited Kate. She's like, we'll make a killer
Yeah.
duo. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to make a killer duo?
Who?
Kate and Phaedra.
Well,
I know, I don't want to. So
I mean,
we have how many episodes do we have left?
we have 2. And then the reunion. So it's 3
2 and
really.
the reunion.
But this one on Thursday, and then the finale,
Oh my goodness.
which is so juicy.
No.
Like, the bit when I fling pouches into the flames and all the thing goes up. That bit is, because people said last year, after last year with Suri and Quentin and Andy and everything, that was so dramatic and so upsetting. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, now without having no real people, it's just sort of celebrities. That's how hard will it be to, and I went, just you wait. There's still, tears and disbelief and fury, and sort of betrayal, and that's the hardest bit, because they said to me when they were cutting the first season that in that bit, because we're all in the same semicircle. So it's, we've all got loads of cameras on us, but a lot of the cameras are on all of, or a few of us at the time. And they said there were certain moments when there was nothing of me they could use because something would happen. I'd be like,
how could you not?
it was terrible. And I was more conscious of it this year. And also, I was telling you upstairs that when, last year when Cerise said she was a traitor and Andy and Quentin both freaked out. And Quentin went like this, and he had a bit of saliva going from his top teeth to his bottom teeth, like this thin stream of, what happens. And it was like, I was saying, in The Good Wife, when at the very beginning in the first episode, and her husband's saying that he's slept with hookers and everything, and Juliana sees a little bit of fluff on his jacket, and she's just fascinated by it, and she's about to go and pick it up when they grab it away. That was like me and the thing in his mouth. I was just mesmerized by it, and I was just staring at it, and I thought, surely it's going to pop. But it didn't. It was just, that was very, very difficult.
Oh, it's theater. It's live theater.
Yeah.
How did this season compare to last season with like the real people versus celebrities? And not that celebrities aren't real people. Because you're here, Alan, and you're real to me.
Thanks, Kat. Thank you. I think in a way, it was more fascinating because nobody knew the game, and really nobody knew how it was going to. And any of these shows, like I remember in Britain when the first Big Brother happened, because the Big Brother's different there. It's not so it's more sort of a sociological experiment. Just watch people in a sort of fish tank. And and it was really amazing and fascinating to see how they all interact. But then the next year and following years, people understand it. Oh, it's a way to be famous. If I go on this show, I'll have my own talk show, blah, blah, blah. And so with this, I think inevitably in the second season, people are more knowing and understand the concept of it. So you lose a little bit of that. But that's what I thought was clever, that the producers did things like, made these changes and had these sort of pull the rug from under them moments. So I don't know, I quite enjoyed this season more, I think, because you've got a bunch of people who understand television and so the sort of the drama was amped up even more than normal. And now I think the next season it'll be great because this theory that you've got to be a gamer or be on one of those shows like Big Brother to win or to have a better chance is also being proven wrong. So it's kind of everything's to play for.
Can we ask, do we know who's going to be on next season? And do you have any dream people you'd love to be on the show?
I actually do know one person I found out today. I'm not going to tell you. I can't. Oh my God, they'd kill me. But someone slid into my DMs today with a message that made me think. They said, "I'll see you soon." I thought, will you?
They're here tonight. Stand up. Yeah.
And then I discovered that, yes, this indeed is a person who's going to be on the next day. Anyway, no, it's sort of, everyone's asking, I would love like Martha Stewart to do it.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be great?
Need.
She'd be so bossy in the kitchen, and she's sort of Machiavellian as well as sort of gentle and sort of firm. Yes, and she's a game old bird, Martha. So I'm rooting for Martha.
Okay, let's get Martha. Let's get Martha.
If anyone knows her.
Let's get Martha.
And also she loves a bit of tartan. She has a sash. She loves a sash. She loves a pashmina.
I was gonna ask. You're obviously iconic Scottish person. Is it so amazing to be filming in Scotland and to be how does that come into play?
It's so great. I mean, because I have family in Inverness. So we shoot near Inverness, and my mom's family and everyone. So I have these both seasons. I've had these big sort of nights, all my cousins and aunties and things like that, and it's just lovely. And now I've got a new place in Scotland. I've always had a place in Scotland, but I've sold it. I've got a new one, and it's actually video fourth season. I'll probably stay at home and get driven to the castle. Wouldn't that be great?
How gorgeous is that?
To work from home.
Oh my God.
Although, of course, I will not be a local hire in case anyone's listening.
What is the history of the castle in which y'all are filming?
Well, I don't know that much about it. I do know that I think it was not probably built. Maybe it was. I think it's maybe one of those Victorian castles. Not that. I mean, for Scotland, it's not that old.
It's
hundreds
new.
of years old, but
New construction.
yeah. But it was. I think it was built based on the money that they had from the Leon Perrins Worcestershire sauce fortune. Yeah, it was the Leon Perrins.
Say that again.
Yeah. You know. Do you call it Leon Perrins?
Yeah.
So that's that Worcestershire sauce. Is what built that castle.
Wonder.
And there's actually some room, like the rooms that you see are all obviously there and done up, but then you just go through a door and there's just a sort of derelict room.
Oh.
There's actually a swimming pool.
No.
That's disused. And I've not even seen that bit yet. I think if you were to go through the wall where the bar is, right through there, where's the old swimming pool is.
Is that where Fergus loiters?
Where Fergus hides in his little basket by the fire.
Oh my goodness. My dream is to take one of those trains from Scotland where you sleep on it.
Oh, do you mean the Caledonian Sleeper or the one or the?
I'm just sharing my dream. That's my dream.
Well, there's
there's
two. So there's the ones that go up and down, and it's if you go to London and you can take it and you arrive in Scotland the next morning. That's called the Caledonian Sleeper, which is magical.
I need that.
It's so good, and it's just so. And also, you can do it the other way. I once got on Inverness with Grant, my husband, and the two dogs, and we on Sunday night at 9:00, and then I was in rehearsal the next morning in London.
No.
Yes.
That's the life.
But there's also another thing called the Royal Scotsman, which is a super swanky train.
That's the one where you dress up?
Yeah.
I need that one.
And it goes all over Scotland, and you get off and do these things.
Stunning.
And every time, I've done it several times, and I just made a documentary series about it, actually. Coming soon. But what's so great is every time you come back on the train, they have a tray of some delicious alcoholic beverage waiting for you. It's just great.
That's sick. What has been your favorite challenge this season?
Well, there's one in the next episode that I love so much because it involves water.
Uh-oh.
And I have enjoyed seeing people getting wet so much. So it seemed to be so, and it was very rainy at the start of, and there was that first one when they jump in the loch and bring all those pieces together and things like that.
That was
and then there's the river, they were all falling in the river and everything. And so, and it's kind of hard to tell on telly, but often at the end of the thing, and I'm like there with my loud hailer, la in a basket, and I'm like, faster, come on. And they're literally freezing and soaking. And then when they got in those net things.
That was my favorite.
I just love that.
I could watch a compilation of just the net.
Yeah.
Nets.
And when Pilot Pete went down into the mud, something.
Shout out to
see.
Pete.
Yeah. No, I loved all that. I actually really loved the one that you just saw in the church, the crossbow thing. That was actually weather cover. We were supposed to do something else, but it was such a rainy day that we went. It was a big pyramid thing. I think they did it in the British version. Oh, yeah. But we couldn't do it. So I actually really liked that one because it was. I thought, is this going to be okay? Because it felt like it was just in reserve. But actually, it was really revealing, and people really got pissed off. Yeah. So yes,
juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask. I love the funeral portion so much.
Yes.
We're all thinking it was Ekin-Su actually in the coffin when you closed it? I was like, damn, no warning.
I mean. No Ekin-Sus were harmed in the making of that show.
There we go.
But last year there was a similar thing where they were underground and they were buried alive, and the team had to come and find them. Oof. And I would think that was more because there was like 4 or 5 of them were, and I was sort of shouting at them through the ground. But it's also they're obviously very careful. They're not going to kill them, but. But they did give them a good run for their money.
That's wonderful. And was haggis the safe word then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think it was. I love that haggis was the safe. And
yeah.
I just love all these girls in this sort of infrared camera going, haggis, haggis.
So good.
Yeah, but this next episode, it's got such a great, a simple mission, and it was a lovely day. But oh my God, it was just carnage. And
really?
Yeah.
So the next episode, we'll get the big reveal because you left us on quite a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Peter or Fedra? What do you think? Fedra's been banished?
Huh.
I think both are very interesting concepts.
Yeah, it could really go either way.
my top international award-winning actor skills. I'm revealing nothing. Although that's another thing, I am like a very indiscreet person about things like that normally. Like I always spoil the endings to things. Like I said this last week that when in The Good Wife, when Will was shot and it was this big, huge, shocking thing, television thing, I told everybody. I did. I told loads of people. Like I'd meet random people and they'd say, "Oh, I love you in The Good Wife." I'd say, "Will dies."
No.
I just couldn't. I couldn't because it seemed to be a secret for so long. I couldn't. I just thought, oh, surely we've got to tell them.
Right. So you shot this season in October.
Yeah.
So you've known for months what's going to happen.
Yeah. But I forgot for a while, actually. I realized
you forgot?
I remember Grant saying to me something. I went, well, wait, who did win? What happened?
My God.
And then I remembered. But yeah, it's quite good to sort of just, forget it. But it is the sort of pressure of not, having to say things to them in the game that you've got to be so careful about in case it gives them any clues to anything. Yeah. And then also, afterwards, not like giving spoilers to people. I mean, I have this funny life. I walk into rooms and random people just go, "No spoilers." Yeah. Like that.
I was going to say, I'm like, you're approached all the time, but now is when people approach you, is it immediately, what's going to happen? What's going to happen on the Traitors?
Yeah, they say that and then say, "Don't tell me."
Yeah.
It is good, but also Lala gets the attention now.
Oh, I love that. What a star.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself rooting for a particular person or a particular like Traitors versus Faithfuls during the show? I
mean, there were people that I enjoyed more than others, but
and that's all we'll say on that. Thank you.
But it wasn't I wasn't two parts. I mean, there were some people that I was kind of happy when they went. Just because of, working conditions and,
totally.
That kind of stuff.
Everyone's sleeping in the same castle. You don't want to
That's right.
have to run into them.
Who snores?
Oh, damn. Before we dive into some audience questions, I also wanted to ask, is there any on-set romance? Because there's been some vibes between...
The idea that CT and Fedra are having
an affair. Fedra!
So hilarious. But people are... genuinely asking me.
They have chemistry.
I said there's more chance of me having an affair with Fedra than Sadie having an affair.
So good. All right, we're going to dive into some audience questions if you're ready. Ooh, exciting. All right, here we go. Why do you think the gay community embraced the Traitors so enthusiastically? #slay.
I think because of the theatricality and campness of it and the the drama. And I think we all love... And it's also what I think is the best thing about this season is that they didn't dump them all in one thing like they did last year. Like they did 3 and then it's every week. So it's got this sort of great water cooler moment thing. And also that it should be a community thing. We're all talking about it, and it's great. We all find out at the same time. And I think, the gays love a bit of drama, and they love all getting together and having a watch party.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh. If you were both in this season, who would your alliance be?
If I was both in this season?
I think if you and I were both in this season.
Oh, if we were both in this, I see.
If both sides of your personality were in this season, how would you pick?
Who would we ally with?
Oh my goodness! I think I'd get in with the girls easily, the housewife girls.
You would, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you: is there hair and makeup on set? Everyone's looking really good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I have a makeup person.
Sure.
Clearly.
And what about Fedra? Because Fedra's always looking stunning.
I just think I think that maybe someone touches them up.
But they just know what to do.
But they do it. I mean, I think Fedra must... I don't know if she slept at all during this show because, when you're a traitor, you've got to stay so late.
I know.
And then she must get up like hours before to do all that eyeshadow.
I try to get
That's why she needed all those boiled eggs for protein and energy.
Absolutely. I try to get in with the girlies. What do you think?
I would probably... I don't know. I really grew fond of CT.
Wait.
Yeah.
Same.
And so I think I would go on CT. He seems solid and decent and
really charming
and strong. Yeah, and charming. Yeah, initially I thought, oh, he's one of those kind of macho sort of guys, and I'm a bit of a sort of triggered by them. But actually, I got very fond of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Who are you closest with after the filming?
Well, who was it that texted me earlier? I showed you.
Can I reveal?
Please.
Mr. Peter. Pilot Pete. I forgot his name.
Texted me today.
I was like, Mr. Peter. Pilot Pete. I missed his Bachelor season. But did he find love? What happened? Oh, okay. Y'all are mad.
3 of them.
Oh, he was that one. He went back and forth.
Oh.
Is he single now? Just asking for a friend.
And
Wait, what? His mom is? I love this.
His
I love
mom?
this community. You think you're shipping Peter and Ekin? Okay.
they both were there that night at Club Cumming.
Scene of the crime. Wherever
Place
you
of-
go, it is
Place
love
of
coming.
dreams.
All right. So you think? Oh wait, you so Pilot Pete for you maybe?
No, CT.
Oh, CT.
Oh,
right,
but
right.
was that the same question?
No.
Oh, yeah,
We went
yeah.
off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. CT. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for the next?
And he
question?
doesn't jump to judgment too quickly.
Yeah. Which cast member surprised you the most?
Well, I mean, I think like John surprised me in that how long he stayed and the fact that he realized he kind of blended in and became a good team player from being kind of slightly a pariah at the beginning.
Interesting.
And obviously when Bergalicious had that moment in the graveyard,
Oh, that was amazing.
so cute.
Yes.
And I remember in the outro thing, I said, and another thing you must all do is listen to Bergie. But they cut it. But yeah, no, things like that. There's constant little surprises. But I mean, there's more surprises coming, so big ones. So I won't let you.
It's all very exciting. Which show do you think best prepared you for the Traitors?
Macbeth.
Fabulous.
Yes. I mean, I don't really know if there's nothing in my past resume that bears any resemblance to anything. But I mean, just in terms of the drama,
Yeah.
Scottish castleness, the murder, the guilt, the thing, the fury, the feuds.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say Macbeth, the crazy version of Macbeth I did.
which I saw when I first moved to New York.
Did you, darling?
Aw.
Aw.
Full circle. Thank you. Someone clapping for me seeing your show. You did it, girl. You went to a show. So I asked earlier your favorite challenge of the season, but Christina wants to know your least favorite challenge of the season.
Well, on a personal level,
Sure.
just that the one when they all got rats and urine thrown on them
that
and
was
beasties. That was horrible for them, but I was having to stand outside in the rain while they were in those tunnels.
You've been through hell. Haggis.
Yeah. Haggis.
You screaming.
And it was one of these ones where I would have stuff in my ear, but there was no context. There was nothing to see. Like normally I can see them doing things. So I was just standing there in the rain, waiting for them to come out. And the first one, Pete comes out, and I've got, get back in, there's more gold, or something like that. That was my least favorite.
That was a tough one. How long did the archery challenge really take?
Oh, God, the one you just saw?
Yeah.
Forever. Fucking
God.
forever. Because they didn't get it. It's obviously speeded up, and when you see it, but like everyone taking the thing, and then they're putting the thing, and trying not to move it. It went on for, and there was maybe about 8 or 9 times when nobody hit anything, and it was just, I thought, is this ever going to happen?
I loved when you were like, y'all are so bad at this.
Yeah.
I'm telling it like it is. Okay. Do you ever disagree with the decision the Traitors make, or do you stay totally impartial?
Well, me, Alan, I completely disagree with them often. Yeah, I think they make.
Yeah.
But I mean, as Alan, who's invited them to his castle to play this game,
the host.
yeah, I'm impartial. But often I just think, what?
Yeah.
But also I often, what's nice is that I get time to sort of muse on it and think, and I usually know who the two that I know where you find out where the day is going. They tell me, and who are the people that they're thinking about, because they do the interviews with them. So yeah, no, I try. I have to stay impartial as my character, and have to sort of be emotionless. But in real life, I'm screaming.
I always wonder about those confessional interviews. When do those happen during the filming?
All day, all through the
Wow.
day. Like they do some in the beginning, when people are going in from the breakfast, they do some then, and then they take them out throughout the day. So sometimes they have different costumes on from the episode they're in, because it's the next episode, it's the next day. Sometimes they're talking in retrospect about things they've done, So it just happens all day long. There's the structure of it is they do that stuff, and then they come into the dining room. Then I do my, and then we go. And then they have stretches of the day, which is just called reality. And I sometimes in my room I hear the producers going, "All right, everybody, I'm going to release you into reality now." And one time I was having a snooze, and I woke up and I heard Kate going, "Wait, is this reality?"
No. I want a shirt that says that.
Yes.
Okay, why did John and Ekin-Su go on the U.S. Traitors instead of UK? I would also go on the U.S. Traitors if I knew Fedra was a part of the cast, but I've been wondering about their casting.
Well, in the British one, they don't have famous people. It's all real people, so they wouldn't have gone on that. And I think I mean, it was confusing to me as well. But I think I love the randomness of having like a John or a Deontay or people like that who are think, what the fuck are they doing here? It's crazy. And I think I would like it to be more like that, because I really do think they shake things up. Totally. And also I think in a funny way, I think there were so many people who'd been in those kind of shows, and maybe now this time after that, my whole theory that that doesn't actually stand you in such good stead. Right. Maybe it was a mistake to have quite so many, perhaps, I don't know. But I really enjoy the randomness of John. And of course, Ekin-Su in her interviews is nuts and really great. She's great fun and she's great TV. But some of the things she says are just, I'm really fascinating, I'm double jointed, I'm fiercely intelligent.
That's so
She's
good.
great telly.
Yeah, well, you didn't see her if you saw her crawling on the terrace in Love Island, she's a wild girl. We have time for just a few more. I'll say, after watching it back, is there anyone you wish that you had tapped to be a traitor?
No, it's sort of, it's a kind of hypothetical. It's hard to, I don't know. No, I think it's, the game goes on a direction because of those taps. It just sort of takes a journey, and any other person would have been a completely different journey. And I think it's one of these great games that no matter what or who, it's always it gets inside people's heads and it makes them mad. And I think, so no, I don't have any, I think it was perfect.
It was perfect. It is perfect. It's fabulous. 2 more, I'll say, because I like this one. Was breakfast the same food every morning?
Well, clearly, Fedra sort of mixed it up a bit. So it's like the salmon one day, the boiled eggs the next, the prosciutto dangling. I don't know, because I presume it was the same platters. I don't eat with them.
Right.
I was having my vegan sausage upstairs with Lala.
Yeah.
But and that, I literally come in, and unless I fuck it up majorly, I would never, sometimes I might have to do a pickup or something.
One take wonder.
Usually a one take wonder.
Hell yeah.
And except when the people, when I smash the frame on the floor. So terrible.
So savage.
I know, I love it. That was my idea.
Yes.
But sometimes when they get too high up, that's why I had to ask Pilot Pete to get it for me.
Oh.
Because in the first season they gave me a ladder, but now I get a tall contestant to do it.
Oh, I wanted to ask about the choir during the funeral.
Oh yeah.
That was iconic. I'm like, where did they find this beautiful choir to sing the dumbest shit? Respectfully, of course.
It was so. And they just were standing there for hours waiting for us.
Oh my God, it was so good.
It was this one big procession. It was all like that, and they said to me, "So here, there's going to be a choir." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
and you'll say to them, and then blah blah blah. And they were all so cute. And I remember we moved on, and we started walking, and I said, "Okay, you guys are fine now. You can." And they went, "Actually, Alan, they're in the drone shot. They have to stay there with their heads down." I was like, "Oh, sorry, everybody." They had to sort of go down doing this or whatever they were doing. They were so cute, though. And also all those drummers. Remember the drummers at the beginning?
Major.
They're all sort of local people that they could have trained.
So
to do
cool.
drumming and things.
I
There
love
was a
it.
chef in a little cafe in a village nearby that was an extra. It was so funny. I went for lunch on one of my few days off, and he was like, "I was one of the drummers."
It takes a village.
Takes a village.
Last
Took the
question.
village,
Last
yes.
question of the night. Okay. Of all the characters you've portrayed on stage or screen, who do you think would be the best traitor if they were on the show?
I think it would have to be Eli Gold.
Ooh!
Don't you think? From The Good Wife,
Yes.
manipulative, crazy, already crazy, and would pull all the strings. Yeah, I think he'd be the best one.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you,
such
Kat.
a joy to
Thank
chat
you very
with you.
much.
Give it up for Alan Cumming. Give it up for the Traitors. Give it up for yourselves. Thank you to the 90 Second Street
Thanks,
Y.
everybody.
Have a great night.